A lot of people get really mad about the idea of a 10mm and a revolver, but they're not really looking at it from the right point of view here. They're just like, well, you need to have a lot of capacity, blah, blah, blah. You need a Glock 20. But here's the thing. Semi-auto pistols, when you're shooting 10mm, they have a ton of recoil. But when you take this like 42-ounce revolver and you put a 10mm in it, let's just get the idea of the semi-auto out of the way. The ballistics of the 10mm are basically in between a 357 Magnum and a 44 Magnum. I know somebody's gonna start screaming now, no, 357 is more powerful. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like overall, both energy and bullet weights are 10mm in between. Because 357 Magnum typically maxes out for a full powered load at 158 grain. You can go 180 grain. A lot of times you start getting a reduction of power because of the reduction of case capacity. So I'm going to say our maximum full powered load is 158 grain out of a typical handgun. And when you talk about 10mm, pretty much that 200 to 10 grain-ish is the max there, where you can go in power and still have a heavy bullet. So you're getting more energy than the typical 357 Magnum, and you're also getting more bullet weight, more momentum, more penetration potential with the 10mm. So the 10mm as its own, as a standalone cartridge out of a revolver, if you stop thinking about the capacity and the 10mm semi-autos and what it's designed for, etc., etc., and you look at it based on ballistics alone, this has a little more energy than typical 357 Magnum, less than 44 obviously, more bullet weight than the 357, less than a 44. You're splitting that difference. And in addition to that, the 10mm is technically a less powerful cartridge than the 357 Magnum. I'm not going to argue that. But when you put them in handguns like this, it's actually typically more powerful. And that's because the 357 Magnum is working on a large powder charge, and you need a lot of barrel length to take advantage of that. When you bring the barrel length down to even a 4-inch barrel, you're still going to have all that recoil of that full powder charge, but then what's going to happen is that bullet leaves the muzzle, a lot of that powder is wasted. From a carbine down to a 4-inch revolver, you're wasting half of your potential power with a 357 Magnum, but still dealing with all that recoil. With this, you're not losing half, you're losing, I don't know, probably a third or a quarter of its potential, but you're still getting, 3/4 of its power with less powder charge and less recoil. So overall, it's a fantastic revolver cartridge. I don't understand why people don't understand that, but they don't. It's fantastic.